Hi, I'm Marta and I'm one of the facilitators of the course. And in this week one, I'm going to introduce what is a personal language learning environment. We know what is a personal learning environment thanks to Angeles, and now let's see what is a personal language learning environment. Well, it is exactly the same as a personal learning environment, but for language learning. As we have seen, we have plenty of resources on the internet to learn almost anything we want. Nevertheless, as we have already suggested, the problem is more about knowing what we want to learn. Do we know what do we need to learn? Are we aware of our needs as learners? Have we set any goals for our language learning? Well, what to learn and how to learn, that's the question. Therefore, to build our personal language learning environments, we should ask to ourselves, what do I want to learn? Why do I want to learn this? And what is my immediate goal? Well, if you're mixing up formal with informal language learning, I mean, if you have joined a foreign language course or you have a foreign language teacher, then you use the internet to boost your language learning, will be much easier for you to know what to look for on the internet. Because you have an instructor around, you have a course, you have a teacher guiding you in your learning process, so it's easier to know what are you looking for on the internet. You have a lesson, you have something planned, so it will be much easier for you to use the resources on the internet. But if you went for the informal language learning 100%, because maybe you have no time to attend lessons or you just prefer to self-manage your learning, then it's more likely that you will feel a little lost about how to optimize your language learning and how to use the internet for this language learning. In both cases, if you are learning in a formal environment with a teacher, a course structure, and so on, or if you are 100% learning informally, will be good to follow the next easy steps we suggest, okay? So, as just on a starting point, the first one is to take a level test. The second one is to structure your learning. The third one is to set some goals, and lastly we will create a portfolio. Okay, let's go for the first one, which is to take a level test. Well, you can find many available for free on the internet, and once you know your level of proficiency, you can map where are you in your language learning process. Okay, so then you can plan much better with what's the next step in your language learning process. How to know this? Well, you can, for instance, go to the Common European Framework of References. It is a document in which you will find the expected knowledge of the language for every proficiency level. So then it will be easier for you to structure your language learning process, which is the second step. Okay, so how to structure this process? Well, at this point, we know our level of proficiency. But to improve your language skills, you need to structure your learning to set up, let's say, a plan. Okay? A very simple way to do it is by checking the descriptors of your target language to know what do you need to learn next. The descriptors are a detailed list of language abilities that learners in each level of proficiency must master. Looking at these descriptors, then you will find out the work you have ahead, so you will be able to choose between the language features and skills you are more interested in developing firstly. Well, you will find in the scripts links to the European framework and also to the descriptors, so you will have access to the documents, okay, in the scripts of this video. Now, as an example, we are using the auto can do statements. It is a PDF document you will also find, okay, here in this course. It is a PDF document created by the Association of Language Testers in Europe. Okay, it is a very long document, and then you will have more information about the language learning process, and it is good because if you know more about this process, you will be more aware of your weaknesses or your needs as language learner. But at the beginning, it's better if you keep it simple, because if not, it can be pretty challenging. You can get bored, and if you're not very highly motivated, can be difficult. So our advice, and this is why we have activity 2 in this first week, is to shorten these documents just with the information you need. You will find more info about this in this activity 2. Okay? Well, once we have created this short document following the instructions of the activity 2, now we are ready for the step 3, which is to set goals. Okay? Now we know where we are. Now we have structured our next step. So the level of proficiency we want to get, and what are we meant to know in this proficiency level. So now let's plan our language learning. So the trick here is to keep it very simple again. So just choose little things you want to learn, and one thing at a time. Okay? And you plan your work weekly, maybe monthly, depending on the time you have. Okay? And now it sounds like pretty vague because you have no access to these documents and all what we are explaining, but we are going to guide you in all this process to do it much better and to optimize this planning and this structure. So don't you worry that we are going to guide you in these 3 first steps. Well, so now we have our level, we have our structure, and we have planned what we want to do. We need to self-manage our resources while we are learning a language more or less autonomously. Okay, this is the 4th step, to manage all the resources we have in our personal language learning environment. Well, the first option and the best one is to create a portfolio. Thanks to a portfolio, you can track your own language process, and you can also storage all the resources you are using with this purpose. For instance, you can create a blog as a blogger or WordPress, so you can also share your activity as language learning with other learners, a community of learners, so you can help them with your own experience, as we are, for instance, using resources created by others right now in this course. Okay? Well, then you can also use a mind map. You have, again, a link to a sample in the scripts of this video. A mind map will provide you with a very visual, map of your personal language learning environments. So there you can gather all the tools you are using for your language learning, and every time you plan your work for the next week or the next month, will be very easy to find the tools you need for your language learning. So you only have to visit your mind map, and every time you find a new tool or a new website you really think it's very useful for your language learning, you just have to add it in your mind map very easily. Okay? You can also share this mind map with the community of learners if you want, so you can help them. And lastly, you can create, to better organize all this personal language learning environment, you can create a folder in the cloud, for instance. So you will have access to all these documents and to the folder anywhere, anytime. You don't need to be with your device, with your computer. You don't need to be exactly at the same time every moment you need to visit and to get information or to visit your personal language learning environments. Okay? So in this folder, you can gather all these resources, your mind map, your blog address, whatever. And it is super helpful in terms of organization. Obviously, creating agendas with the work weekly and things like that are also tricks we all use, but this is up to ourselves how to organize this more personally. Okay? So this is just an example, but obviously you can find your own way to create and manage your portfolio to adapt it to your preferences as learner. Maybe you are using already a tool to organize your own learning, so go ahead and use it, and please share it with us, because maybe we can share with our community, and we can learn from each other. This is the idea of this type of courses. And what I really want you is to enjoy this experience, to join us on this course. Well, we have an online discussion synchronously. So will be super nice to meet you all there and get to know each other, and have a chat about how we learn languages and things like that. And hopefully you will have fun and learn a lot. And I hope you enjoy with this course. So thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you all soon. Okay, so thank you, and let's learn, and thank you. Bye.